30. Wow, we actually made it to the episode 30 mark. Sup everyone, Gameplayer here, live, coming to you from my bed, I guess. Okay, all joking aside, this is episode 30, so it's crazy that there is episode 30 to begin with. Let me just tweet out that we're live. But go ahead, introduce yourself, Weeb.
Oh, finally the first one.
Haha.
So, it's the Weep Sheriff, aka Blue Rhizome. What's good? I guess
mm,
I guess I have to say what I've been playing.
yeah.
I have just platted Anno Mutantonium after a grueling ordeal because I thought initially one trophy was bugged, but apparently the trophy guide that I was following was bugged because it was completely wrong. I initially there was one trophy that left where which you get if you see the false ending, and the trophy guy was following said you have to defeat an optional boss to get it, which is actually the exact opposite of what you have to do. You have to not defeat that boss and then continue until the end to get the fake ending, which I obviously didn't get from that description. So I was really frustrated. I was looking at Reddit, see if anybody else had the issue. Apparently, more people had the issue because probably were using the same guide. And I was somebody suggested that you may have to wait until the point of no return to do that secret boss. So I thought, okay, let's do that. So I wasted 2 hours going back to an earlier save because that was the only one I had where I didn't defeat that secret boss yet. That didn't work. Then I tried, maybe I have to get all the collectibles. That didn't work. I considered going back, maybe doing it again with before I entered that room where I could fight the boss. But I thought, fuck it, I'm going to finish the game. And then I saw somebody respond to my comment, like to that comment where I said, I tried what you did, what you said, it didn't work. And then maybe I have to complete, the game first. And then at the final part, before you see the end cutscene, you still have the ability to move on. Maybe then you have to go back and fight that boss. So I just did that, and then, but instead I just had to continue past the point of no return. A cutscene played, and that was it. I only had to see that cutscene, which then immediately sent you to the optional boss to fight, and so I had the trophy, I had to immediately get the plat, and yeah, I'm so relieved that I didn't waste. Well, I wasted a lot of time, but I'm so relieved that I finally got the plat. Great, it's a great game, by the way. Do recommend it. It's sort of a mix between an adventure and hack and slash. Really enjoyed it. A very interesting story. It reminded me a bit of Control in terms of the setting, sort of a mixed Control, cyberpunk, and whatnot. If you haven't played it, recommend it. And right now I'm playing D-Lit in Wonder Labyrinth, which is a Metroidvania type game based on the Record of Lodoss War IP, which is a light novel and also an anime you may know. So
What's the
far,
name?
Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth, which is based on a Record of Lodoss War.
I need to look it up on YouTube because it doesn't ring a bell, but maybe when I see it, I would know what
Oh,
it is.
A Record of Lodoss War is a quite famous fantasy novel in Japan. It's based on D&D, and it has I think it has a TV series and OVA plus two spin-offs. So there's plenty to go at, and the TV series I definitely recommend it's very exciting, very has also the soundtrack done by Yoko Kanno, of course. Um, so yeah, and that's mainly the reason why I bought this because I just love seeing those characters again. But so far it's quite fun. It has some interesting mechanics, you can collect spirits that can give you abilities that also make you immune to those elements. So that's kind of interesting. And you can also your bow can bounce off metal. So there are interesting puzzles where you have to shoot.
Oh, this game, I recommend it to you. I remember recommended to you and I actually wanted to buy it because last
Oh,
night I saw it in discount.
Oh, I was way ahead of you. I ordered this when it first was announced, and there was supposed to be a physical edition, but that was canceled. So I had to buy it digitally. I think I got it with Christmas. I think there was a sale. So yeah,
I had
but I
no
didn't get it yet. But
idea. I had no idea this was an anime to begin with.
oh yeah, and yeah,
All
if you haven't watched it yet, recommend it.
I played it on my laptop back then, and for some reason I dropped it. I forgot about it, and but I was enjoying my time with it because it's in Metrovania.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, I seen it for $8, so 80% I'm buying it. 8 euro.
Oh yeah, it was at a discount, yeah. But yeah, I mean it so far it's worth it. It looks great, it sounds great and it's fun.
Mhm. Okay, as for me, yeah, as you guys can see, we're just with the two of us right now. Morgan can't make it, and
I think
Innate
I think I
is
saw an 8 just
and
now, but
Innate is on the late side. He just watched Doctor Strange, so he was eating when he asked me. So I'm curious about K. I have the feeling K not making it. Rek is being the Rek. Um, I'm waiting on Ghost in the Shell, see if he can pop up or not. Otherwise, we might genuinely be with the three of us at maximum. Just me, you, and Nate. Whenever he pop up.
yeah,
Um.
I think I saw him just now, but he dropped again.
Okay. So then he's dropping anytime soon. I finished Trekkie. Hey, Ghost in the Shell is in the house. He's gonna drop in anytime soon then. I finished Trek Naomi. It's a short game. It relies heavy on uh, replay value because you can get alternative endings and stuff like that. I would just say it looks nice, but it's boring when it comes to the gameplay. It's like, how
Oof.
should I say it's got some good qualities to it. Like, for example, in order to learn new skills, you need to actually seek out hidden areas and defeat certain enemies. Literally normal enemies, but just in hidden areas. When you defeat them, you get a skill or a button prompt and stuff like that. Well, they are all button prompts. They are some more skills. Mm, so Ghost just texted me. He need a few minutes. He'll be right back. Um, the only reason I didn't drop the game, one, I got it through Ghost, so I'm like, okay. And two, I wanted to see what the fuss is about. And three, I didn't want Morgan on my ass. Because we all know she loves that game, she was hyped for it. I'm genuinely curious about her opinion about it. Gladys she couldn't make it tonight, so I'm gonna ask her next week. But here is the crazy thing is, despite the fact I finished the game, I'm playing it over again. Despite the fact that I don't want to. But one of the reasons I'm playing it again is because after you beat the game once, it unlocks the hardest difficulty, which is basically one shot. You one shot enemies, they one shot you. And I love challenges like this, so I'm trying to see how far I can go. I just defeated the first mini boss. He is semi easy, and now I'm about to fight the first boss of the game. It's going to be almost easy as well. I'm more concerned about the later part of the game because that's when they throw the bullshit at you. You will just say the story makes absolutely no sense. It almost feels like they didn't. Uh, how should I say? It's basically Hellblade, worst version of Hellblade with better combat. That's it. The atmosphere is great. The Japanese setting is great, but other else outside of that is horrible. It's just not worth it in my opinion. You're better off spending your money and time somewhere else. I'm still playing Orange Shear. I'm loving that game, and I'm still playing Valkyrie Chronicle, and I'm still loving that game. So,
Glad to hear.
mhm.
I'm glad to hear it that you're
Yeah.
enjoying this
So
game.
what happened as follow? I took a peek at the Golden Week sale, and I regretted it. I counted around. I needed around 300 euro so I can buy everything I wanted to buy. The amount of games in discount, dude. Oh my god. So there is that. Mm,
By the way, I'm kind of curious, direct to Yomi. What's the is it sort of hack and slashy, or is it more Souls like in this combat?
it's not hack slashy, no. It's a little bit on a faster paced side. Almost like what's called you can block, you can parry, but you die very fast. Like with 3-4 hits, you're dead.
Yeah, okay. And what's the penalty if you die?
Nothing.
Okay.
Zero penalty.
Yeah,
You
all right.
just die. And the checkpoint most of the time are well placed. It's not fluid on the level of Atipu. It got different feel to it. So yeah, let's get into the first topic, which is going to be Square Enix losing 200 mil. You seen that?
Is that because of the NFT crash?
No, because of how they handled the Marvel IP. Marvel Avenger uh, made them lose money
Oh,
because they didn't do the IP justice in a way.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, action, reaction.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, Guardians of the Galaxy, that's a shame because that was actually a good game.
Yeah, that
But
was a great game, but again, how they uh, first showcase that was very horrible.
the Avengers, yeah, that was garbage. I mean, that game was ruined by trying to make it, yeah, GaaS and games as a service. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's yeah, it suddenly makes sense why they yeah had to sell or sold the studios with those kind of losses.
It's
Oh
crazy.
well, yeah. I had a theory. Yeah, I mean this makes sense. I had a theory uh, that maybe they might have sold those studios so Sony could buy them. I mean it is still a working theory because you've also heard that the FTC is also scrutinizing the Bungie deal.
It's how should I say? Um, it seems to me that a lot of people are saying no, the PlayStation bought them,
Well,
and
the thing is because the FTC is sort of and that has to do with their Biden appointed a new chair last year. That was after the Bethesda deal was completed. So and that chair is more strict on these acquisitions in tech, in particular in the gaming industry. So that's why there was a scrutinizing the Activision deal and now they're also scrutinizing the Bungie deal, which could be interesting if they let's say if Sony or these companies knew that this was sort of going to be the reaction that maybe Square sold their American studios so that they won't have to deal with the FTC. I don't know. I mean, it's a theory. So I mean,
I need someone like Ghost NHL or N8 to elaborate more on that, because they are from the USA. They can explain it to us more.
I mean, we can all do our research. It's not that difficult, but I think, I mean, we don't know anything until something is confirmed. But there are all always ways to speculate on this. I mean, on one hand, you could say if a company, say, I mean, I have a business background, so at least I know a bit about that. But I know that companies can choose to sell off their assets, their studios, to either to make them less attractive for an acquisition, because if you sell off the things that a company might want to have, like for example, suppose Microsoft wants to buy Square Enix. But if they're only interested in the American studios, then selling off those studios certainly doesn't make them very interesting. On the other hand, if that's a theory that I well, I'm not saying that's true, but say there's a possibility, is that Square sold those studios to make them yeah make it easier for Sony to acquire them if there's a deal because it will be smaller, will be leaner, and more interesting to if let's say if they're gonna shop themselves on the market. There's also a way to do it. On the other hand, you can also say that selling off studios can also be done to generate cash and then buy back your own stock to prevent other companies from taking over. So anything is possible, but it's interesting that maybe that's something that's yeah behind this decision. I know they officially said they want to invest in NFT and that kind of thing, but I mean you always have to make an official statement to sort of yeah justify making any investments. But I mean, I'm not would not be surprised if there's something else behind this purchase. But yeah, the loss is definitely or the sale. The loss is definitely or might be a big reason why they sold those studios.
What you said, um, basically, uh, one, the studio that made them lose a lot of money is Crystal Dynamic. That's I will always. Here's the thing. I'm the firm believer of the boss will always stop with you, the leader. When it comes to Xbox, I always blame it on Phil Spencer. When it comes to PlayStation, I always blame it on Herman Holt and Jim Ryan. When it comes to when it comes to um, what's called now Square Enix, I blame it on the top leadership. They are to blame for what happened with the Avengers. It's their greed. It's the same amount of greed that destroyed what Babylon Fall should have been instead of what we gotten. So, but at the same
Well,
time, yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with all. I mean, yes, of course, in the end, the leadership is accountable. But like with Babylon Fall, I'm not sure if that was a decision of Square Enix to make it
Nah,
a service game or
uh,
Platinum Games.
pretty sure it was a Square Enix move.
Well, Platinum actually did state before that, or Kamiya tweeted out that they would go forward with service games for from now on. So it does seem to be that that's a decision Platinum Games made. It wasn't forced by anything. I mean, and Square Enix doesn't own Platinum Games, right? They just happen to be the publisher in this case. They're an
No, they
independent
are
studio.
publishing,
Not
but
their
I'm
own.
pretty sure they have more power over it. I wish Akira was here because he would elaborate more on that. But I will remove Babylon Fall, no problem. But at the end of the day, again, the boss stop with you. And with how Crystal Dynamic uh, fumbled literally 200 mil, and no wonder they were good sold. Remember how they were also not content with the sales for Tomb Raider, the reboot franchise. They always demanded better, more and more, despite the fact, as someone that played the Tomb Raider franchise, what made me the most mad is the actual tomb raiding was fun. The puzzles were fun. But when you literally put 15 or 10 tombs behind DLC, that's when you lose me, dude. You ever played Tomb Raider? We. Oh, he's AFK. C-Fash,
No, I'm here. You mean the new ones, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I played the first one and I tried playing the second one, but it was garbage.
Oh my
Uh,
god. You actually played the better ones. If you played the third one, you're gonna throw it out of the window.
I still I think that the second one was also garbage because I tried playing it, but I was cringing so much because of how badly written it was. I mean, I mean, I know that Uncharted is inspired by Tomb Raider, but it's very clear that they saw what Uncharted was doing and said, okay, we're gonna do that, but with with Lara Croft, and it just doesn't work because they're not as talented as Naughty Dog. The writing is cringe. I mean, I sort of enjoyed the first game for what it is, but also I wouldn't call it anything special. In fact, I often find it a bit. It's almost like a torture simulator because Lara gets thrown into so much sort of torment. Really, it's ridiculous. She then falls into a trap and gets stabbed and shot, and I mean it's kind of ridiculous, really, at the point that almost sounds. It looks like the creators just hate Lara. Just
To
wanna.
be to
wanna
be to be fair, that can literally be said about Horizon Forbidden West with Aloy. Like
No,
you
no, no,
had,
no, 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 no. I don't agree. There's a difference there between how you do it. I mean, yes, of course, it's easy to make it character compelling by putting them through ordeals, by making them suffer. But there's a difference between making them suffer and making you gratuitous. And Tomb Raider makes it gratuitous to the point where I don't think it's intentional, but the thing is just that okay, yeah, look, we need to they want to stuff in too much in one game rather than have like a single like if you compare this to Uncharted, right? I mean, sure, Nathan Drake does get hurt a lot, but there's generally like one point in the game where he gets seriously hurt, right? And where well, okay, you know he's gonna survive, but for the drama is like oh he's hurt so bad that maybe he's not gonna make it, right? But with Tomb Raider, that was pretty much every fucking scene really where she got injured. So, and that's just ridiculous. That's the point where I say it's torture porn where they just want to make her suffer, but instead of making that a way to grow the character or making you concerned for the character, it's like laughable because it happens every 5 minutes. So you don't really care anymore at that point. It's just for the people who like to see her suffer, and that's sort of and that's just the problem with the talent or at least the skills. I think they should hire people who know how to do this, who know how to write and pace the story better and these scenes better. That's sort of my issue with the original one. It's sort of like combining a lot of elements from different games, like a lot of from Uncharted, but not doing it very well. And with the second game, like I didn't even give him a chance because I just cringed so much after the opening cutscene where it's like, this is so bad. It's like watching a direct-to-DVD movie. I I just couldn't stomach that. I mean, if I have to watch this, I don't know how many cutscenes this game have. But if I have to watch this for the entire fucking game, I'm out. So I didn't couldn't even be bothered.
you know, the crazy part is, do you know who the director was for that game?
Which one? The first one?
Yeah, either the
I
first one or the second one. Cory Barlog.
I don't think he directed it.
Either he is the director or something. I remember him being involved with the game, and then he
Yeah, I
left
know.
and went back
I
to
know.
some
Yeah,
to
I
what you
know.
call.
He worked there. Yeah, that's true.
But he was on a high level of not just some random. Okay, so here is the thing again. See, fresh. You said it. You said it best. Shadow of the Tomb Raider put tombs behind paywall. It's not even funny. It's disgusting actually. Because tomb raiding was the best part out of the game. It was not fighting enemies. It was fighting enemies in stealth mode. I loved that. That was fun, enjoyable. Story was bullshit. Laura, whatever you wanna call her, acted like a complete fucking what do you call that? Um, how do you call that? Um,
Describe
um,
it.
uh, no, not only crybaby, but even worse.
No, no.
She
I said describe it. What you want to say?
no. She acted like an entitled bitch, like genuinely an entitled bitch. So I'm basically gonna spoil it for you, Weeb. I'm not
I'm
sure
never
you're
gonna
gonna
play
play it right.
it. No, I'm never gonna play it.
Okay, so you watch, she causes literally the end of the world, eh? and just because of her curiosity. And instead of actually blaming herself and take accountability for her action, no, she started to blame everything under the sun. And she complained to her partner, like, not partner, best friend, like, why are you not supporting me? Why are you why are you blaming me and stuff like that? She was literally a brat. And I will never forget it, and at least make it make sense. So what happened is I fought against either a leopard or what's called I forgot which animal it is, and I killed it. And then another animal from the same species come literally next to me, sniffs me, and leaves. When that animal had literally every chance to literally bite me and kill me right here and there. I literally just killed one of your species. Maybe your friend, maybe your lover, and you're gonna sniff me and leave? Um,
Yeah, I mean, those games suck. Yeah, look, I with Avengers, I think the problem is that needs Square Enix wants it to be a service game, but and that's the problem with a lot of these companies. I think making a service game is easy. It's not easy. I mean, that's why Sony bought or is trying to buy Bungie, because they know how to do it. They perfected this. So
no,
rather than trying
no.
to try to replicate itself, get that knowledge right. And this is also why I like Halo Infinite. Yeah, it's failing because they don't know how to do this. They
We're
don't
gonna
have
talk
the.
about Halo. We're gonna run to
Okay.
cover when comes to Halo. It's not only that. It's just how should I say this? You as a company, you need to able to know how to lead, and some people are just not no leaders. I remember Cory Barlog having control in either one or two. I forgot which one it is with the Tomb Raider, and that was great. Like I enjoyed one and two. It's three that I hate. Three that I hate with passion. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is one of the worst games I've ever played, and I'm a Tomb Raider mark. Like I never got. It's not like I never got into the pet game. I played them, but my uncle loved them, and I would load a save file where I have no idea what I'm supposed to do, and I would die a few times and call it a day. But it just it. One second. Um.
By the way, I just googled it. Um, the
Hey, Akira.
Is
Wait a
it?
second, Akira.
Curly?
Go ahead, Weeb.
Yeah, I just googled it. Corey was the cinematic director of the first Tomb Raider.
Thank you. No wonder it was a great game. Hey, Akira,
Is it Curly, right?
You played
Oh, girl.
Tomb Raiders, the new one, the
Yeah,
rebooted one.
of course. Yeah, I played all three.
Okay,
Oof.
how bad is Shadow of the Tomb Raider?
You know, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is I can understand it's divisive, right? To be honest with you, I didn't think it was that bad as as some people say it. Let's let's just say the best one is always going to be the second one, Rise to Tomb Raider. To me, it's the best one. The third will be definitely on the lowest when you rank them, but I don't. I didn't really think it's that bad, man. I actually, there was some enjoyment there, but I can understand the criticisms towards it. But for me, it was not that bad. It would really not that bad, to be honest. 'Cause, I would give it, if we give scores, right, I'd give it a 6.5. Like I said, it's not that bad, but I won't play it again. That's like the thing, right? I only played
Would
once.
you? So let me ask you this: are you aware that they locked literally tombs behind DLC? 10 tombs behind DLC.
Wait, they locked what behind DLC?
10 tombs. Like they created 10 tombs or 15, and they locked them behind DLC.
Oh, all right, yeah, okay, that's bad. Now that's bad. Now, this is the
That
thing, man. When it comes to DLC shit practices, right? I don't. I know some people do, right? Some people uh, uh, include that into the quality of the whole game. But to me, it doesn't really affect the experience because it's kind of like,
no,
yeah.
it actually affects the experience because the best thing about Shadow of the Tomb Raider is the tomb raiding.
No, I get what you mean, but what I'm trying to say is that that's kind of like DLCs are like it's more a corporate decision, right? Would you agree, Weeb? Like DLCs are more corporate decisions, right? Can't be the developers themselves. Can it?
Well, well, it depends, of course, because you have independent developers who look DLC in principle, like say an expansion, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you have DLC that essentially carved out from the game, and you paywall that's let's say where we talk about in the microtransactions. But the decision, what I understand is when they have a publisher deal, there are certain monetization targets that they agree upon. Like what Bungie did with Activision, they had a certain agreement. Okay, you need to essentially earn a certain target above the sales of the game, and they are free to do that how they want to. So they could add microtransactions, they could release expansions, um, loot
That's
boxes, right?
like
So the mission is up to them how they do it.
that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Like it's DLC is kind of like more of a business move, right? It's more of a business move than than an actual thing, right? Except for a few. If a DLC is really that good, I would say that would be a developer thing, right? Because the game is, for example, they have a big game already, and then they release DLC that's also that good. Then that's like business and the developers. But if it's only like that, with the tombs, that could be more of a business move. Yeah, a good example would be good DLC's example would be The Witcher 3. It's a good DLC example because Witcher 3 is such a big game already
Yeah,
on its own.
that those DLCs are goaded. But here's the thing: with when we talk about developers, you do have to understand that there's the developer, the company, and you have the developers, the people who are working for it. If you ask the developers who are working for it, they of course they would rather than add loot boxes and microtransactions stuff. They would rather just make a full game that
Yeah,
when we get every and rather work on the next game or an
yeah,
expansion, but not that kind of bullshit. But say if you talk with a company, that's what you were talking about with business. Yeah, it's not necessarily always the publisher that demands that. It can be the developer, the company the seller decides, okay, yeah, we're going to add microtransactions, or as I said, we're going to we can fill that target how we want, but instead of doing a lot of work and making additional story content, we're just going to add microtransactions. So and it's in some sense understandable that a company needs to make money and they have certain targets they need to meet. But of course, the problem with things like microtransactions is that it's they see that this is an easy way to make money, and they're going for it because yeah, I mean everybody's doing it, so why shouldn't we do it? And then of course we as the consumer, but also the developers as individuals suffer from that because their creativity stumped because instead of using their skills to make these beautiful worlds and tell these incredible stories, they're just restricted to, yeah, okay, make another skin, make another loot
Yeah,
box,
I get it. Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
I mean, there's levels to it, of course. Yeah. I mean, there's already levels to a DLC and microtransaction. Yeah. The skin DLCs are not really I'm not really big on it. For example, I love Tales of Arise so much. I've been so vocal about that, but I bought not one skin from the game.
But to
I
be fair, to be
none.
fair, to be
Unfortunately, did.
to be fair, Tales of Arise have literally supported the Tales game like with so many free DLCs. Like
No, no, I get it, but
I've seen it with Asuka one, with what's called I've seen it a few times now with
no,
Tales getting free DLC. Am I right or
I'm
wrong?
no, I get it. It has free DLCs, yes. Speaking of DLCs, right, and this is Bandai Namco, that One Piece Odyssey, man, it's also not impossible. They're gonna make multiple skins for the Straw Hat Pirates because they got a lot of costumes. Oda loves dressing them up so much, and in the manga, it won't be impossible that they're gonna do it like Tales, where they give them so many
I
costumes,
have
and
no issue
some of
paying.
them you need to buy.
I have no issue paying for One Piece
No, no,
DLC.
I
DLC.
get
If
it.
you include a different character, like for example Jinbei, I'm pretty sure Jinbei is not gonna be able to
Nah, I
make it
think
to
he's
the
already
main
gonna
game.
be playable. Then Jinbei, I think he's already gonna be playable by then. But no, what I'm trying to say is there's levels to it, of course. Like I gave an example where I don't bite, right? I'm not big on skins, right? I don't really care about it to be honest. I work with what I have, and however, DLCs like expansion content, right? For example, Lost Judgment, uh, Kingdom Hearts 3, Remind, and like I said, Witcher 3, Doom Eternal, Ancient Gods DLC. Those kind of DLCs are something that, to be honest, as long as the game already felt satisfying by content from the from your initial purchase, right? Getting that on top of that is just, I don't know, man. There's something I really welcome about it because there are games that I really want more content from. Either it's going to be a sequel or it's going to be an expansion. I actually welcome that addition. Yeah, especially again if the game is now lack of content. And those are DLCs that I think if companies really need to earn their money, right? I think those kind of DLCs I would welcome it, to be honest. The great ones, right? The great expansion ones. Like I said, there are also expansions that are shit. For example, a big example of shit expansions was Spider-Man 2018. You remember that? The City That Never Sleeps.
Yeah.
Now, the Black Cat was actually a good one. The first one was a good one, but the other two was, yeah, man. that was kind of that felt
I
like a
enjoy.
cash grab, to be honest.
I enjoyed them all.
No,
They
no, no.
were.
I mean, the Black Cat's edition was like what made the purchase worth it. It was only her edition and her dialogue and her scenes. Otherwise, I don't know, man. I didn't feel the others. Oh, wait, sorry. Sable was also good, although she was already in the game anyway. But those two additional interactions were worth it. But then the rest, again, in my opinion, they were not so well done. The boss fight was really bad. The Hammerhead boss fight was really bad.
The
So
final boss battle was fun. The
as
one
a
with the hammerhead.
no, I didn't like it. But no, I finished it anyway. So what I'm trying to say is, that was a DLC that I would rank as not so good, right? That's kind of like my example. Again,
Sable DLC and Yuri Lonsol DLC was fun. Not Yuri
I
Lonsol.
already I already mentioned
Yeah.
DLCs that I actually like I said, Witcher 3 is GOAT. The the two expansion DLCs are amazing from Witcher 3. Kingdom Hearts Remind is the best part of Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm just saying it should have been the whole game, to be honest. Um, uh, what do you call this? Yeah, Doom Eternal, the Ancient Gods was amazing DLC in my opinion.
Uh,
And
yeah,
uh,
the only thing I miss is the soundtrack because what's his name again? Who did the soundtrack of the main game? Forgot his
wait, from
name.
Doom or what?
Yeah, from Doom. Yeah,
Ah, shit, man.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
not familiar.
it's not tip of my tongue, but um, yeah, whatever. But they had a falling out. Uh huh.
I love how you said whatever. That was funny. Continue.
No. I think I heard about that, to be honest. But you know what? It's all right. I didn't notice a difference, to be honest. It was still good.
Hold on. You didn't notice the difference. I noticed the difference. The
All
difference
right,
is
then
that
I'm not that hard.
The laptop cut my audio from me for a second. Go ahead.
no, I was talking about the soundtrack of Doom because the DLC the composer because they had a falling out didn't return and well Kira still likes the sound didn't notice the difference. It's not your words. I noticed the difference because while it's trying to sort of emulate that soundtrack, it's not quite the same, and it's not quite the same because it doesn't take into account how the soundtrack interacts with the gameplay. That it really enhances the experience, and that's something that yeah it's hard to do because not many games can or game directors or sound directors can do that. But when it's
Mm-hmm.
done, you really notice that. I mean, that's why I enjoy Doom Eternal also so much. Is that when you like, for example, when you encounter a marauder, right? It had like a particular soundtrack, and that just you just felt the intensity of that. You were on the edge of your seat because okay, now you're gonna face a real opponent, and I just love that. And he also did a soundtrack of Wolfenstein, the New Colossus, New Order, which you can also hear just how and he generally like makes different versions of that same song, so that when you're like undetected, it plays like a very low key versions, and then suddenly when you are detected, it like dials it up to 11, and that's so awesome that you just feel like the soundtrack is essentially part of the gameplay. And yeah, that's something difficult to do, and that's also something that I'm a bit concerned about at least the next Doom, whenever that or
Well,
whatever form
ap-
it take.
apparently a new rumored 3D Doom to be revealed this month, next month, when
It's
Xbox holds
I won't be
the.
surprised if a new Doom is
But
on the
Oh,
Xbox show. I mean,
I
it's
actually
fucking it's
wanna move
Doom,
from
man.
this whole Doom conversation because I wanna focus on what that matters. So finish your topic, guys, very fast.
oh, Mick
No,
Gordon. I
I'm
Mick Gordon.
yeah,
Just Google
yeah, all
it.
right. I remember it now. Yeah, Mick Gordon. But no, I mean, like I said, I won't be surprised if Doom appears in the Xbox show. It's a Doom is hype, you know. If they show Doom, it's hype. It doesn't matter if I'm sorry to say this, but it doesn't matter if it's a CGI trailer, it's a fucking title, it's Doom, it's hype. People are gonna go crazy that a new Doom is coming.
I'm
But
more interested in new Wolfenstein.
Okay, so
nah, Doom. Yeah, go ahead.
I wanna talk about what we've said. With Akira being here, I'm curious about his opinion because you genuinely opened my eye with your statement. So can you repeat what you said, Weeb?
For Enix or what?
Which one?
Your hunch why Square Enix sold
Yeah,
uh,
of course. For Enix. All right.
Oh no, yeah, he's asking what I said. Yeah, I was sort of throwing up a few theories. One theory I had is let's say that Sony is going to acquire Square Enix. Then selling those studios makes sense because the company's less valuable, so it's less expensive to buy, and B, we see with the FTC now cracking down on or scrutinizing these deals. Even the Bungie deal is now being scrutinized by the FTC. If you remove the American or let's say the Western studios from the equation, and Square is mostly a Japanese company, it's possible that might be a tactic to dodge essentially the scrutinizing effort of the FTC, saying, yeah, no, it's mainly a Japanese deal, so FTC, you don't really have anything to say here. It's a theory. I'm not saying that that's true, but I mean,
No, it's
that
just a
could be
theory, my
behind it.
croaking. But I like the
It's true.
idea because it makes sense.
No, it's true. It's true.
I wanna talk to you, Akira. How is Square Enix in the eyes of the Japanese people right now?
Why? Because of after they sold their
Yeah,
Western
after
IPs?
they have they fumbled
I,
Marvel?
I don't know who needs to hear this, right? But when it comes to, Asia in general, there's not a lot of people who cares about the Western IPs of Square Enix. I'm just saying,
Hmm.
you know, it's
So you're telling
the
me
Western IPs, the
they
Western
live in
IPs
their
of
own
Square
bubble?
Enix. The Western IPs of Square Enix are literally just there to please the West. That's kind of like the idea of the Western IPs of Square. But apparently, it's like the funniest part, right? Apparently, it's still a Japanese IPs that pleases the West as well. Yeah, it's not really the Western,
Akira,
except for DSX, of course, and Legacy of Kain. We could talk about that.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider, and no, actually, those three are like the top three that I can think of when it comes to Western IPs. Um,
Ak-
Surprisingly, Square Enix kept Just Cause. That's actually a surprise to me, but all right.
Indeed.
the
Why?
fact that they didn't keep
They
what's
kept
called
they kept, I think, three IPs. I forgot the other one, but the other one is actually Outriders. So they kept
Oh,
Outriders and they kept Just Cause. And
it's the
I'm
fact that
surprised.
they
Like,
didn't keep Sleeping Dog and
no, they didn't give Sleeping Dogs. No, they gave it
and
away.
Legacy of
what?
Kain is
What?
sad.
Again, this is what surprises me about it. They 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 kept Just Cause over Legacy of Kain. That blows my mind
Yeah.
so much.
Hey,
Yeah,
To be honest with you, it's been a it's I never asked this question to myself for a long time, right? But yeah, Legacy of Kain did kind of become, popular, and it really makes me wonder why Square never did anything with the IP anymore. I wonder if it's because of Amy Hennig, not being accessible anymore for another Legacy of Kain. It's weird that
that
they really didn't follow up anymore.
yeah, there was I think a service game or a multiplayer only game, like something with Noscot something a while back, and there was there is a you can find on YouTube there's some gameplay of a cancelled sequel that was never made. But yeah,
So again, yeah.
it's a it's a damn shame indeed because that series is goated.
However, Embracer Group, right? I think some of these old IPs go into Embracer Group. It's a good thing, to be honest. The only reason why I say that is because if you look at Embracer's Group portfolio, it seems like they're also a fan of some old IPs, right? They brought some old IPs back. The most notable one that they brought back recently was Destroy All Humans, right? Destroy All Humans got a remake, and not only got a remake, it also got a sequel on top of that. So basically, they didn't have a sequel before for that game that they remake, right? But it seems
yeah,
like
like
the remake was so well received that they're making a sequel for it, and that's such a cool thing because it's like the first time I've heard of it. Did you ever hear of that before? A game that
if
a
Well,
remake and
if
then it got a sequel because of the remake? Never heard of that before.
if they
uh,
don't if they didn't have any interest in reviving IPs, why would they even buy them? That's how
No,
it
no,
yeah,
feels
I
to
get
me.
what you mean, but I was trying to, let's say, defend my point about why I think it's a good thing, and that's like my main thought process. I've never heard of a remake got a sequel before, especially for a dormant IP.
oh, I agree. I definitely think it's a good thing. And let's not forget Darksiders. I think
Oh yeah,
yeah, they brought that back. We got
yeah, they did, yeah.
three, we got what's called
But
Genesis.
yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah,
brought
yeah.
back a lot of old IPs. So and also their conference thing, right? Their conference call. They mentioned Legacy of Kain. So it seems
Yeah.
like it's already like the early sign that they're very interested in the IP, and I can't
Now
blame them
all
because
we
they're gonna
want
make money
is
with
to
that.
them to revive Sleeping Dog, and I'm good.
Yeah, I know. Sleeping Dogs was my request. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
when I realized they own Sleeping Dogs, and Sleeping Dogs is getting in a live action movie, I'm like, this could be the chance
Mm.
to see if there's an audience,
Oh,
if the
Akira,
audience is still big, right?
they're
Yeah.
definitely gonna capitalize on
mm,
that.
Akira, what's
Yeah.
your thought on? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Weeb. You were talking.
No, he
No,
was
and then,
capitalized on the live action movie,
yeah,
Sleeping Dogs. They have a
yeah.
perfect actor. It's fucking Donnie Yen, bro. I'm gonna watch Donnie Yen, whatever the title of the movie is.
Akira, what's your thought on what's called crystal dynamic fumbling the bag that hard? Who do you blame it on?
For Avengers or what?
What's your thought on crystal dynamic losing 200 mil
Yeah.
with
That was
that?
Crystal Dynamics. Oh, okay. Um, yeah, man, that's this was so this was the difficult part about
Do you blame it on
the
crystal dynamic or do you blame it on Square Enix leadership as a whole? I'm
I
curious.
would uh I would say I would say it's both, to be honest. Now this is where the lines get blurred, right? I don't know exactly who wanted the live service, right? Because I would imagine when it comes to live service, most of the time it has to be a corporate decision. Because live service is just really, you know, literal their existence is just to grab cash.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't sense passion from a game like Fortnite. I don't sense passion from, from live service games, basically. I think the only exception, well, it's not a live service game, but if people want to call it that, it's Final Fantasy 14. I kept on saying again and again, I don't think Final Fantasy 14 is a live service type of game. So, so
If
yeah,
Final Fantasy 14 is a live service game, then every game should be like Final Fantasy 14. The
no,
way
I
they
agree.
turned that game around is astonishing.
Uh, Final Fantasy 14 succeeded because of passion. I'm just saying that a lot of live service games, I don't feel passion from it. That's like where 14 sets itself apart. You can feel the passion from that game, Um, and that's kind of like I think what's missing, right? Sony wants to try live service games, and I think that's kind of like one of the recipes that they need to think of. They need to put passion in that in the live service game they're going to create. But yeah, Avengers with Avengers, right? I don't know who wanted the live service idea, especially for a game like the Avengers, because I really think Avengers would have been way better off as a single player game, not live service at all, because it's the Avengers. I'm just saying there's a lot of things you can do with a story in this game that can feel grounded and where you will not be required to do this live service model. You can do it like you can definitely do it like an Insomniac Spider-Man with your own style or something. They could have definitely do that, but yeah, the Avengers really took suffered from its live service model by gameplay and by everything basically. And of course, this is one thing, right? Live service models. There's a huge challenge with live service models, and I think so far only Bungie and if people want to include 14 and only 14 and Destiny are able to kind of uh, survive in the model. So live service model's biggest obstacle is to fill that thing with content that the player base don't fade away. It's with a competitive nature in the game industry that there's so many games out there, so many genres. A live service game can only capture interest by that much, especially if you're dormant with content. You cannot produce content just as fast as people lose interest. You know, and that's like the problem with live service games, and I think that's what Avengers failed at, is to be consistent with content that people will keep on playing the game. And I really think that's what made this game fail so hard. It's the inconsistent flow of content for Avengers, and of course, I would think that's one of the reasons. It's kind of like one of the happenings that made Square sell these Western IPs. The 200 million is a big amount of money. Of course, apart from the bullshit reason from fucking Matsuda for the blockchain, the NFTs. I really think it was a business move, all throughout, where they just they want to cut the weak link. You know what I mean? They want
So
to
you
cut a
don't
weak
think
link.
they did it for PlayStation can buy them?
Um, about PlayStation, right? There are some multiple reasons why Square would do that, and to be honest, this is in my opinion, was an unpredictable move from Square because I've been telling this for a long time where they should sell their Western IPs because it's giving them a bad image because it's like it always fails,
Nah,
almost always.
let be fair. I said they would do it. You said no, they would never do it. Remember? I
To
had a
sell West,
conversation
no,
with.
no, no. Actually, no. I actually said in a space where I said Square Enix should sell their Western IPs because it's what
Yeah, but
makes them hit and miss.
You didn't see them do
Oh
it.
no, I didn't see them doing it. That was the unpredictable part to me. So this square is unpredictable is what I'm trying to say. I really don't know what the game plan is. The logic of Weeb, of course, is very sound. If you have a Japanese deal on about Japanese companies on Japan only, then yes, America or US cannot interfere with it, or any part of the world except Japan only. Um, of course, it also makes it easier for a deal to be made because it's already common knowledge right now that you know almost a lot of Japanese companies share the same shareholders, especially with Sony investing a lot of money to in companies like Square Enix, for example, for stakes, right? So they kind of have already a shareholder um advantage, something like that. And yeah, the logic is sound as well. So I won't be surprised if Square gets acquired by Sony. But this is the thing, man. If it ever happens, I really believe it's gonna be a Bungie type of deal because I
No,
don't see.
no, 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 no. I don't see that. I don't see that happen. Because especially, I think
You need to
PlayStation
you need to
and
listen to what I'm
let me
about to say
explain. Let
first.
me explain. I
No, no,
see Square Enix on the level of a Bethesda when it comes to how it should be
no,
handled.
Bravo, you need to listen to what I'm trying to say. If they go under PS2 jobs, they cannot produce Switch games anymore, and that's not good. I'm just saying that's not good for Square, and that's not good for Sony as well. Because Nintendo technically doesn't need them, but they need Nintendo. They do. Because if you're gonna look at revenue for Square, right? Sony and Nintendo are very close to each other, which means the percentage of revenue cannot be covered by Sony completely because it's that big. And when it comes to Japanese companies, they normally don't want to cross each other, like in a very in a very let's say in a way where a company can get compromised or employees can get compromised or something like that, right? Because you need to understand, Square, despite of outsourcing, they outsource their Switch games. A lot of their Switch games are outsourced. A lot of the people from there, though, from Square, are still working for the Switch division. And if you take that away, either you find a place for these people in the other end, or they don't find a place at all. And that's kind of like a no-go for Japanese companies. a lot of them try to prevent that as much as possible, which is why with Sony Japan Studio, right, the heads left, but almost all of them were retained and just put on a different studio because you cannot just really let them all go. It's not good. It's just not a good thing
I
to
can
do,
see it
and there's
doing
laws
it.
for it.
I can see him
There's laws
doing
for
it
it.
with Nintendo, but not with Xbox. I think they're gonna skip Xbox.
No, I'm not talking about Xbox. I was talking about Nintendo.
Yeah, no,
the
Nintendo.
re
I can
the
see them
the reason
retaining the
why
relationship. Yeah,
again the
that
reason why I said the Bungie type of deal is because of Nintendo. I was not thinking about Xbox at all. I was thinking
But
about Nintendo only.
I will see, like, for example, I don't see PlayStation creating games, Square Enix creating games for Nintendo only. I think now
No,
every.
no, there'll be PC. PC. That's
No,
it.
no, no, no. PlayStation as well. If a game is created for Nintendo, it's gonna come to PlayStation as well. It's Square Enix, it's PlayStation
Okay.
owns
No,
Square.
no, yeah, okay.
If
Of
if
course,
not,
yeah,
if
yeah.
not, 0 point would have been made from this acquisition. Then
Oh no, there's no, it's not 0 point crowd. Again, you need to understand is these IPs are important for PlayStation brand. A lot of people may deny that or may say they don't believe it or it's not true, but it is true. A lot of Square Enix IPs very important for the PlayStation brand. You can't this it's just I'm gonna just say this right. Um, if ever there's a day right where Sony completely loses Final Fantasy, that'll be that would be a lot worse of a loss compared to Xbox acquiring Bethesda, Activision, and put Ubisoft in there as well. The impact of a PlayStation losing a game like Final Fantasy is really bad. I'm just saying.
I
I know
actually,
Call of Duty, right?
part
I know
of
Call of
me,
Duty.
part of me wants for that to happen, cause I want PlayStation to stand on their own feet. I
I
want
know,
PlayStation to
Karaba.
create their own JRPG.
Yeah, but the thing is, you need to understand. Even if Sony, of course, tries create their own JRPG, and of course it'll be a process as well. There'll be a process to it. They've been not doing it for a long time, and
Okay.
you lose Final Fantasy. It, it's really hard to imagine. It's such a big loss because we're talking about generations, crowd. We're not even talking about generations like 3 or 2. We're talking about the beginning of PlayStation. We're talking about we're talking
I
about one of
mean,
the one of the
they dropped,
one of the
they dropped, they dropped to Japan, so it's not like they care. Come on, let's be real.
they brought what?
They dropped SIE Studio.
What
They
do you? Oh
obliterated that, so it's not
no,
like they
I'm not
care.
talking about no, I'm
No,
not
but
talking
it,
about
in general.
JRPGs.
Well,
The big loss.
the thing is, the difference is what you're arguing is you're just arguing, okay, Japan studio, so Sony or PlayStation,
Don't care about
Japan is more
JRPGs.
important.
Yeah,
But that's different because Final Fantasy is not just a Japanese. It's a Japanese IP, but it's not just big in Japan. It's
it's
a world
worldwide.
phenomenon. So, yeah, I'd say
I
that
didn't
that
think of it
definitely.
from that part. Good one.
Oh no, Karaba, there are a lot of people who bought PlayStation because of
No,
16
I am
alone.
not I am not
Yeah.
disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I was one of the people that was begging my parents when I went to Lebanon. I was literally begging them. I was literally almost created like an Excel sheet just to explain to them why I need a PlayStation 3 in my life. Just so I can
Because
play
Final Fantasy.
Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 13 Versus and Final Fantasy
No,
13.
no, no.
Like,
But yeah, that's what
you're
I'm trying to
talking
say.
to person that had to beg my parents just
Th-
so
let's
they
just
buy me the PlayStation 3. Trust me,
let's say like
I
this,
know.
right? There are IPs, of course, that are, let's say, more accustomed to Nintendo because let's say those are like the IPs are more popular in Japan compared to the world, right? And there, of course, there's some fans along the world, but it's kind of like more of a Japanese IP, like more popular in Japan, like Dragon Quest. However, like I'm trying to say is we're not talking about we're not talking about exactly Square being pointless because you gotta understand. Let's just say it happens, right? Despite of a Bungie type of deal, Sony will still have access to a lot of talented fucking people. And the IPs, they will be guaranteed that they will not lose them despite of having they can go to other platforms like like Nintendo or maybe Xbox if they get lucky as well, or PC. But the thing is they will never lose it whatever happens because they own it now. It's kind of like the idea now about what do you call this? And again, access to talented people, man. Again, you have a Bungie type of deal, but like Sony said, they acquired Bungie because they need their expertise in live service, right? That's what they said. So just imagine this: if they do acquire Square, what kind of expertise do you think they can get from Square?
Oh, a lot of
JRPGs.
activity. I can't wait for that. I wanna move.
JRPGs. So, yeah, it's exactly what I'm trying to say. A Bungie
Yeah.
type of deal is not a bad deal because the reason why Sony acquired Bungie, and it's their words verbatim, is they need their help and their expertise in the live service model they're fucking good at. So
Mm-hmm.
if Sony does acquire Square, that's only going to be the same answer. They need their expertise in the JRPG
So
games that they're so fucking good at. They got Yoko Taro, got Yushi P, got Tetsuya Nomura, and Nojima Kitase, all in a phone call away. Especially if it's especially like in a Bungie type of deal, you just have more access for them, for resources, for people. And dude, like, I'm just saying, man, Yoko Taro getting his own AAA game. I'm just saying, like the and the possibilities are endless if it does happen.
yeah,
Of
it
course, I
does
can
happen.
understand I understand the concerned people though, and this is like the funny part, right? A lot of the concerned people about the Sony acquiring Square is going to be the Nintendo fans. I'm sorry to say this. A lot of them will be more on the Nintendo side, more of a Nintendo fans, because of course they will not be sure anymore that if Sony does acquire uh, Square, will they even care about some of their small IPs. I call it small, but they're not really small, but more of a the IPs are not that popular because Sony is known for making AAA games all the time. That's it's kind of like the major consensus. That's why a lot of people are worried that for example, will we see this game again? Or we'll see another Octopath? Or we'll see another this and that? More on the not so popular games, and it's kind of like one of the major worries if from these people if Sony does acquire Square, and I'm if if it happens, mark my
Okay.
words, you're gonna see them.
Okay.
You're gonna see them. They're gonna be very low.
Okay. I wanna move on to the next topic, which is gonna be very brief about it, because in my opinion, it's anti-consumer no matter how you slice or dice it, and it shouldn't happen. So apparently, with the release of season 2 for Halo Infinite, if you try to play Halo Infinite Season 1 challenges without owning Season 2, you're locked out of the challenges. So they literally forcing you to buy Season 2 if you wanna play Season 1. That makes absolutely no sense. Am I wrong here with this one? I'm gonna start with you, Weeb.
So explain. So you're saying they're locking out content from season one if you don't buy season two.
Exactly. So let's say you wanna do challenges in Season 1. If you don't own Season 2, you can't do the challenges.
Yeah, that's beyond anti-consumer. That's basically theft because they're taking away content.
Yeah. Akira?
I mean, it's not a debate, right? How do you even defend that? Is it anybody try to defend it? Can you tell me what they said?
No, you have people defending it. Don't worry about it. They
Yeah, then it's self-explanatory.
they have their defense part ready. And another use is Xbox have DRM. How do we know that?
I
Well,
fucking hate
they
DRM.
lost play, people lost the ability to play their offline games. Not, mind you, not online, but offline games. On the other hand, with PlayStation, you can simply play your offline games without feeling the need to be connected online. So, what do you guys feel about that? I'm gonna start with you, Weeb.
Oh, I already knew that the Xbox is an always online console, which is one of the main reasons why I won't main it because I want to be able to play my games whenever I want to, and that's one of
I
the main
will.
advantages of having a PlayStation.
I'll never buy one, man. Like, if you're gonna do the online only shit, I might as well just
They
PC that shit, right?
they are not doing it. They already did it.
No, I get
So
it, and I'm just saying, if PlayStation try to follow that route, and I'm gonna go retro because I'm not doing it. I'm
oh
not doing
yeah,
this online.
I agree.
Play. I wish. I hope PlayStation or Sony is watching the discourse there about online DRM because whatever the fucking future is, I need cloud gaming or online DRM or whatever the fuck it is needs to be an option. It cannot be the main thing. It just can't. Like, people are really advocating a future where you don't own shit.
Yep.
It boggles my mind, man. I don't fucking understand it. Like
Game
they say
Pass,
Netflix and
Game Pass, baby.
like the thing with they keep on saying Netflix and the thing. This is the thing. I'm gonna just say this right. With Netflix, a lot of the things that you have in Netflix, you don't even know. Like, a lot of them are a filler for stuff that that comes some of them good once in a while, right? But the thing is, they're not interactive, right? You don't play movies, you don't play shows. You watch them, but it's kind of like a different from an interactive medium because in an interactive medium, right? You really take it on your own pace. You play it on your own pace. You can watch a movie or watch a show, right? You can binge it or you cannot binge it. It's easier to binge. It's easier to sit in one through sitting, right? It's easier with movies and shows. That's why you can maybe bear not to own them because let's just say you can finish them in a month the most, right? If you're that slow. But with games, however, you just don't know because you're just balancing your time and you're trying to do this interactive thing. And that's why I can never see it working for me at all. That's why I love offline because, I take my time with my games. Like I'm still on my replay of Kingdom Hearts, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
I'm at,
I was actually
yeah,
talk about that.
I'm at
You,
Bird by Sleep now. I'm almost there, right?
you
I'm
didn't
almost there.
you didn't play Track Naomi, yeah?
Oh no, I haven't played Trek to Yomi yet. No, I saw clips from people. I haven't played it
Are you
myself.
gonna play it or no?
No, I plan to play it. Yeah, but I don't know when. That's the thing. I'm finished. I'm gonna take this thing towards the end until the Kingdom Hearts remind again. I'm gonna do this replay. I'm gonna really finish it. And I'm. This is the thing, right? We about Melody of Memory, right? Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. I have been debating hard with myself if I'm
If
going to
that's
get this game because I'm not a fan of rhythm games. And the thing about this game is like it's like you can also watch it because you're just watching someone play a game to the beat, right, to the music, and it's something you can actually watch because you're also listening to the sound. You know what I mean? So I'm really debating if I'm gonna watch it or I'm gonna buy it and play because I'm not a fan of rhythm games.
I
Just saying.
I've never played a Kingdom Hearts game, so you don't have to ask me.
How
Oh, you
dare you,
never play
Weeb?
it?
How
Okay,
dare you?
okay.
You are an insult to everything in
You're
not it doesn't exist. I'm joking. I'm
Yeah,
Nah,
joking. I'm
it's all good.
joking. I'm joking.
yeah, you
Actually,
definitely played.
Akira, not so long, literally a few minutes, an half hour ago, I saw a person defeating one of the secret boss in Kingdom Hearts, Birth by Sleep, the mask person, without getting any damage on Twitter.
Oh, Wait, you're talking about that wait, you said Birth by Sleep? No, the clip that I saw a while ago, that was Kingdom Hearts 2. You
Oh,
know,
Kingdom Hearts 2?
he was doing a no damage against the Lingering Will. Yeah, Lingering Will is like this is like a, a secret boss in Kingdom Hearts 2. You know, you can recognize its appearance from the secret ending of Kingdom Hearts 2. And yeah, no, I was doing a no damage on one of the hardest boss in the game. Basically, it was very impressive. I saw it myself. Um, you know, this is like the thing, right? I'm gonna finish until Remind Kingdom Hearts 3, and then I don't know if I'm gonna buy another game already after that, or I'm gonna try to plan them all of them. Again, I'm
I
really enjoying
actually,
myself too much.
because I know you're hardcore like me, I recommend you buying Tracheomi just for one simple reason. After you beat the game once, you can play the game with literally you one shot the enemy, they one shot you. But on the other hand,
Interesting.
bosses, what's called,
It's
um,
one shot.
bosses can one shot you, but you can't one shot them. So only with bosses you're screwed.
This
Um,
go ahead.
yeah.
By the way, about Square Enix, right? It's not only JRPGs, right? You also have the mobile and their anime. That also is a huge gold mine for someone like some anime and mobile. They're both doing that now. So again, multiple reasons for Square. Actually makes a lot of sense compared to Capcom or Bandai or Sega. Square makes the most sense. I'm just saying.
Akira, I actually forgot to say this, to talk about this. So, Outrider Studio people can fly said to investors that there's no guarantee it will ever receive any royalty for the game, which had failed to break even as of last year. So, who do we blame this? Do we blame it on Xbox with Game Pass, or do we blame it on Square Enix who taking the money and not sharing it with the people will fly or people can fly? I'm going to start with you, Weeb.
Yeah.
I thought you just asked Akira.
Oh, it's you.
Uh, who do we blame? Yeah, were they owned by Square, the studio?
No, Square is just publishing the game. So
Ah,
what
okay.
happened is Square, when people can fly behind, people will fly or can fly back, and made the deal for putting it on Game Pass. Cause I remember it vividly where the account for people will fly on Twitter was literally almost begging people to not cancel their
Oh yeah,
pre-orders,
yeah. I remember. Yeah.
telling them like
Um.
you're gonna be happy with what you're playing,
Yeah, yeah.
you're gonna be enjoying your stuff and stuff like that. It like it when I looked at how they reacted, it's like they knew if they removed the sales from Xbox, they're gonna lose a lot of money. Cause even PlayStation, some PlayStation fans gonna switch over from not buying it from PlayStation and just go to Game Pass. Which again, it's up to you if you do so. But a lot of cancellation happened back then, and
Yeah.
now we're hearing.
I think there's at least from me, I would imagine it doesn't necessarily mean that people are gonna play it in Game Pass, and maybe they're just like pissed off, like they feel like they have been given the worst deal in a sense.
And now they saying they didn't even break even, which is
Yeah,
insane.
I'm not surprised, but I think that's yeah. I remember that with the Outriders that was the uh, already stated before that they went behind the backs of the developers. And yeah, that's the true danger of Game Pass for developers is that uh, if your publisher still sticks to your traditional model of how you make money, which generally is, the publisher will pay for the development of the game, uh, and only after an X amount of sales, the developer will actually see royalties. Well, that's generally the deal that they make. Yeah, if you're putting it on Game Pass, yeah, there are no sales, so you have no way of measuring that, and yeah, that's that's a true, yeah, bullshit bingo really for these developers, that if a publisher can do that and there's no contract. I mean, I would hope that future cases, developers will make sure to put it in a contract. Yeah, either you can't put it in Game Pass, or if you put it in Game Pass, you're gonna pay us a shit ton of money for
Upfront.
all the yeah, exactly, for all the royalties that we will miss because the game won't be sold anymore, or at least people won't buy it because it's in Game Pass.
I agree. I agree, because this is bullshit on so many levels. Would you agree, Akira?
Yeah, no. It's sorry. No, it is bullshit, of course. It's again, this is what boggles me about a lot about when it comes to Microsoft. Right? I really don't understand how you can defend some of the stuff that happens there. I really don't. It should be self-explanatory as fuck. Right? So it's like this is I'm gonna tell you a story a while ago, right? So I saw this person complaining that he cannot play his games offline, because of the DRM shit. And I asked a simple question, right? Basically confirm, you cannot play your games offline, and basically I got ambushed by some people who were saying, no, you can play them offline. And some of them, you cannot play them offline. And there was this one guy, Xbox profile picture. It was really hilarious because he basically said, yes, you can, and then he posted a link to some article that I'm required to read or something. You this man trying to argue a point by giving me homework to read a damn article that God knows where it come from, right? Now, the reason why this was hilarious to me is because a lot of the people were already summarizing the article to me, and apparently it says that you need to set your Xbox to home Xbox. Apparently, I never heard of that, but all right. And
No,
then
even if it's in home, it's
no, no, I know,
still,
I know. Again, I'm not done yet. After that, there are some people who still cannot play.
yeah,
So that
exactly.
link that I was required to read was completely useless. That's why I didn't read it. It was a waste of time anyway. And that's what I meant, right? They were trying to defend it. Let's just say it like that. Defend it by that. But there are people who genuinely are being inconvenienced about it and are speaking up about it. There's people who keep on saying that that's not the case. They keep on
Dude,
trying to do this shit.
people
And
gonna defend whatever they want. That's on them.
no, that's what I meant. All of this cannot be for a point of discussion because it's self-explanatory already. It's bad, or this is not good. That they need to change what they do, or they need to fix it. That kind of thing, right? And um, the Game Pass thing is really it's really hard to tell with Game Pass. It's obviously there was this thing, right? Trek to Yomi, by the way. Speaking of that, right? I saw people ask this question. I saw a lot of posts ask this question. Um, Basically the question was, is Trek to Yomi good? Is it good that I can buy it, or is it good? Is it not that good that I should just play it on Game Pass? That was the thing. And I saw a lot of people say Game Pass. Get Game Pass on it, which is already an indication that the game is not good. So you get it on Game Pass. Is that what It's a bad way to even use Game Pass as an option to play games that are actually not good. So that means that if there's a major consensus of a game, for example, the game is great, but if there's a major consensus that it's not that good, then it's not going to get the support that it deserves because you got this option to grab right there that people always take first. And again, it may work for some games, but for some games, and this is why the day and date thing is really something that I think is not a wise choice because all these games have potential and should give it at least 6 months or 3 months even to see its potential. How much it can sell on the hype of its launch, and then after that, after things have died down, put them in service. I think it's a good approach as well. But again, uh, I'm never really a fan of Game Pass. Again, it's services are not for me. I don't have PS Plus because I play games one at a time, and I cannot handle. I don't want a backlog. Game Pass is basically getting yourself a backlog, and I don't want it. I play and finish the games that I buy one at a time, so that's why I don't have a backlog, and that's how I play. I manage my time like that. If you have Game Pass, it's like I don't know, man. Like I don't know how to manage my time with a service because services are known to take away games, right? In a specific amount of time. And
Um,
I don't want my time management planning to be under a time limit, you know. I need an indefinite time. I need that eternity thing because I'm playing as I go ahead, based on circumstances and based on what happens in lives and based on the time I spare, taking care of my daughter and doing housework or doing cooking or working. And again, I need to manage my time. So I need an indefinite time for my game. And the only indefinite way for me to have with my game is to buy it. Mostly physical, but sure, digital if I don't have a choice. And that's my thing. That's what I'm never gonna use these services. And with the PS Premium, right, the only way for them to make me get that service to make God Hand playable offline, then maybe I'll get it.
okay, we have a Nate in the house. How was Doctor Strange without any spoilers? Because I'm hearing
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was pretty good. Um,
good.
yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. I mean, I think my expectations were in check. I'm not flipping out the gym like some of these people that went to go see it, but
Mm,
honestly, I'm just I think I'm a lot harsher of a critic than a lot of these people. Some of these people, I
mm-hmm,
think, as long as they get to see a comic book movie, they go, "Oh my god, it was amazing!"
mm.
Every time, and I'm just like, I'm not that person. So
So, we said something that I would genuinely wanted to ask you about that. He said in his it's a theory from him. The reason Square Enix sold their Western studio so that when PlayStation buys them, they don't get scrutinized by the FTC because they don't have any American studio out there.
yeah, they don't have any global assets.
Yeah. Do you think that can be something that
I mean,
makes sense?
I just don't think it will be scrutinized ultimately because like they said this is something I talked about with Morgan and it was like trimming the fat. You know, we if we look this big, we're gonna look like a potential problem. But now we got rid of all these global franchises like Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, and all the other ones, and now we're this. Square Enix is not a tiny company, but with just their Japanese stuff, it just Square Enix itself. Um, but it's less of a thing. It's like, hey, here's this company joining us that we're helping, rather than we're swallowing up this mega company, that could potentially basically topple the market. Like, no, like it would if the Bethesda thing didn't come under scrutiny, then neither will that. That was the Bethesda thing was even bigger.
Yeah, and Nate, just to, I was also wondering about that, but apparently, the current chair of the FTC came aboard after that deal was closed, and it seems that they're changing directions to scrutinize those deals more than they used to do. So I'm not sure that that situation is still the same, but I do agree that probably those deals will probably eventually go through. But my argument was, again, I'm not saying that for sure this is
No,
what's
it's
going to
just a
happen.
theory. But
Yeah,
continue.
exactly. But no, yeah, but just that might be possible if you look at it that way. That maybe need this. That's a sign that they're preparing themselves from being acquired, selling off your fat, as it were, right? Makes you
Hmm.
smaller, easier to acquire. And yeah, if you have less, let's say, stake in the American market, then yeah, the FTC might have less of a say in it, or less opportunity to scrutinize it. Because the more acquisitions that are going to happen, the more they're going to be scrutinized, and it's going to be. I'm not expecting the Bungie deal to fall through. I mean, Activision maybe, but because of the sheer size of
Yeah,
it,
I think that's the biggest one
yeah,
that could be in trouble.
yeah. But I say
After
probably
the voting,
more.
I think that deal is gonna go through.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that's not going to go through, but I do think that they're probably, even let's say both of them are going to go through, they're probably going to say, okay, all right, right, the FTC is now uh, watching us, so we probably should be careful, with uh, our next acquisition. We probably should keep that low key and wait, or maybe stop, because yeah, look, of course there's the reason why they watch those acquisitions, not just based on the current situation, like the absolute, like, okay, how much market share do you have, but also the trend that is going, because once you buy one, you're not going to stop. The scene already a lot have been acquired, and they just want to make sure that there is any competition left once this is over. And to be fair, I mean, I don't. I mean, I know lot of fans on both sides are pissed off about this for some reason. I personally think it's good that they're actually doing what they're supposed to do, protect the consumer, make sure that we're not ending up in a situation where a few players control all the providers of these games, and we're going to pay the price of that because they can do whatever the fuck they
Oh
want
yeah,
because we don't have a choice.
I agree. I hate this whole studio war, acquisition war. I really hate it, but it's just the reality of things. If I had the choice to change everything how it was before, I would have done so. Like buying small studios is one thing versus buying actual publishers.
Yeah, but
Um,
I mean they changed that game already, so
yeah,
yeah,
that's
now
why.
it's yeah they
Um,
started the war.
yeah. Actually, Microsoft did
That's
with
what no, I'm
when
saying
they start.
Microsoft did. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. They started
Um,
it with all this bullshit going after publishers, and then oh now it's open season.
yeah. And Nate, did you hear about Square Enix losing 200 mil?
Yeah, honestly, that doesn't surprise me none. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with them half baked ass scenarios. They're gonna get enough of listening to Xbox gamers, cheering them on, talking about, oh, this looks amazing, and yeah, I can't wait to play this. Ooh, it's coming to Game Pass. Awesome. They're gonna get enough of that.
Um, what's the other thing is Square Enix apparently being rumored to be bought by PlayStation. Believable?
I mean, I honestly think it's the perfect match. I mean, it makes complete sense. It's honestly, I believe their current direction is exactly the way PlayStation needs to go with them. So I think everything just points in the right direction to me, honestly. I mean, they're refocusing on giving us these Japanese RPG games. Like this is what we wanted from them forever. Like give us the shit that you make. not some Americanized bullshit, toned down, wannabe, Kylie Jenner looking ass fucking JRPG. Like, get that shit out of here. Like they were trying to do that for so long, and I'm like, and then every time they put out something like Octopath, it would be a hit, and it was like,
But
I
it's not
mean,
on PlayStation.
well, no, it's not, but that's what I'm saying. So to me, that's the perfect fit to guarantee number one in the future that never happens again, because to make sure they secure it, and if they want to secure a little bag on the side, a little more, keep it going, keep those little small deals going to Nintendo as well, but just make sure that shit doesn't miss on PlayStation.
Gotcha.
Inante basically said what I said. No, Inante, I basically, how I said it was uh a Bungie type of deal for Square Enix would not be so bad because uh Sony said that they acquired Bungie for their expertise in live service, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, Square, like what expertise are they going to get? The mobile games, anime, and JRPGs.
Yep.
That's the expertise they're going to get. And I also mentioned that they can have access to a lot of talent. Mentioned some names: Yokotaro, Nomura, Yoshipi, Kitase, Nojima. All these talented people
Yeah,
accessible for them.
I think
And
it's going to be a two-way relationship. Like
yeah,
PlayStation has
exactly.
injected like some of their help teams over to Square several times to help them finish development and do other stuff, and now exclusively working with the product could
Yeah.
strengthen that even more. Getting access to those
I,
internal documents and, whew,
I
man,
already
it's a match made in heaven
I,
for me.
I already mentioned Yokotaro, right? Yeah, I mentioned it. Of course,
Hmm.
I'll mention it. But no, what I'm trying to say is uh, Sony and Square. It's so weird that some people, let's say, are upset about it because Sony and Square is a marriage waiting to happen for generations. It's been generations that people have been seeing a Square and Sony in like a marriage that has not happened yet, basically.
Hmm.
And Square Enix almost went bankrupt because that marriage was almost broken by
Yeah,
the previous CEO, Wada, fucking asshole.
yeah, I
No,
remember that.
that was I mentioned to Kuraba, right? I said something like because he said something like it doesn't make sense if Sony will still keep on making that multi-platform thing, and I basically mentioned that it'll make a lot of sense because first of all, can you imagine the day, for example, you imagine the day where they announce that PlayStation completely loses the Final Fantasy IP? Like,
Yeah,
can you imagine the repercussion for PlayStation as a brand? We're talking about generations of
yeah, it'd be a
relationship,
massive problem.
and
Would
basically
you
getting
want
them is
that,
just
Annette?
making sure
What?
we
What?
don't lose
Would you want
one
them to
Final
lose
Fantasy.
a Final
Final
Fantasy?
Fantasy.
Would I
So
want them
that
to own it?
no, lose
No, I wanted to lose it.
Oh
so
hell
that
no!
Hell no.
the PlayStation wake up and create their own studio, Japanese
That's not
studio.
what that's not how it works. I explained it to him, man. I already
Nah,
explained it to him.
hell nah. But, like, I mean, it's synonymous for a reason, right? Like,
It's
it,
symbiotic. It's
yeah,
bad for both of them. It's bad
yeah,
for
it, it,
PS and it's bad for Square.
it's kind of like how I explained to somebody the other day how, like, yes, everyone who plays video games doesn't like anime, but video games and anime is almost synonymous with each other because the fan base is so intertwined that if someone watches anime, they often video game, and if someone video games, they often watch anime.
Mm-hmm.
Not profusely, but they've watched one at least. You know what I'm saying? Like they're tied together in a sense, or at least they get exposure to it. The same way, like a lot of other nerd things. Someone who often plays video games is also into Star Wars. They're also into Star Trek, or they're into all these things that kind of tie together. They're synonymous with each other. But PlayStation and Final Fantasy are so close together. You will often meet people who have gamed for years who think it's not available anywhere else.
even Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts only recently become, let's say, multiplat. But before it was PlayStation, Nintendo, because you got Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2, to PlayStation. Then you got Birth by Sleep, which is PSP only, and then you got the DS games like Chain of Memories, Dream Drop Distance, uh, 358 and a half days, and Recoded. I think is also DS, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, I keep on saying, right, Square and Sony, it's a marriage waiting to happen for almost 5 generations, and if it finally happens, I won't feel any surprise, man, because I've just been waiting for this to happen, you know, ever since after the PS3, because again, the PS3 era basically showed how important PlayStation is to Square Enix. It really did, because the
yeah,
exact thing that almost got them bankrupt is them, losing that almost losing that close relationship with PlayStation that they had. You know, Wada, Wada really started making deals all over the place and kind of made this, let's say, split with PlayStation,
yeah. He
and that
did.
that that was
Well,
what almost
he
got them bankrupt.
started chasing what he thought was this.
Yeah,
If we could pull this Americanization thing off, we could go global. And I was like, bro, you
exactly.
already are global, but people don't want. Like, I still remember the horror, like in my reaction to Front Mission being made like an action
Yeah.
adventure fucking arcadey game, and I was like, what? Why are you even wasting development money on this shit? And it
Oh,
was
you're
trash.
talking about of that Square Enix game. I remember.
Yeah, it was the Front Mission
Again,
Evolved.
it
It
was it
was
was uh
Yeah,
was Wada before. Yeah,
but this is
and
when
Abomination.
they, yeah, this is when they started trying to perform like this weird transition, and that's when they started looking into the whole thing with Crystal Dynamics, and you know, after eventually all these failed projects and these failed expectations of thinking Tomb Raider was going to sell like 15 million and all these other things, were like, no, dude. But then
yeah,
gradually,
the
they
Xbox deal,
started,
right?
yeah, all the
That's a weird
Xbox deal
Xbox
and the,
deal.
oh, we can't believe it didn't sell this much or this and that,
And then they put it
and
in
how,
PlayStation anyway. Yeah, put
yeah,
it in PlayStation anyway. But no, what I'm trying to say is, the PS3 era proved, that Square, let's say, that relationship is important that they had PlayStation. They're very synonymous with symbiotic relationship for both of their brands, basically. I would also say the same for Capcom, to be honest. Even though
yeah,
Capcom is a bit more distant compared to Square. Capcom's still important, PlayStation has been there for the Resident Evil celebrations. So Capcom still has its importance as well. But yeah, Square was kind of just different because, Square was literally saved, was literally saved by Sony twice, right? While Capcom, I don't think Capcom was saved by Sony. I think PlayStation helped them, but they were not
yeah,
completely saved like with Square. Square was saved. And
Okay.
again, that's why I made my post, right? That pissed me off about Matsuda. Because I'm like, look at this, man. I'm getting WADA flashbacks from this asshole trying to chase something that's failing again,
well,
like
yeah,
NFTs and blockchain.
the in blockchains and shit, yeah,
He
that's,
reminds me of WADA, man. Like I'm saying, he's chasing this something that he thinks is gonna pop, and
Yeah, hope
completely
with
disregarding
PlayStation.
his talented people.
I hope with the PlayStation buying them that they shift away from this whole kind of situation. We don't need that.
I mean, they got again. I just want Square Enix to fucking get a CEO who understands that they have a lot of fucking talented people. There's so
Hey,
much talent in Square. Like this is like the thing about the Western studios and IPs, right? A lot of people see Square Enix as a hit and miss, and unfortunately, it is a lot of times because of their Western, it's their Western part, right? That's why it's seen as a miss. But their Japanese part, a lot of them are wins. And that's kind of like the thing, right? When they sell their Western part, they just
I
need to
wanna.
understand they're just full of talent, and they need, again, the CEO just needs to recognize they're full of talent and just focus on that.
agreed.
I,
They're gonna
I,
prosper.
I want to move on to the next topic. We already covered, but not with Innate. Innate, what's your thoughts on Xbox DRM?
I mean, I told you so. I mean, like, I mean, honestly, dude, I'm so we already know this. I mean, you know how I feel. I mean, like these people are stupid. You know, they don't want to listen. They want to come up with a bunch of excuses. They want to bring up PlayStation 2011. You know, they want to talk about everything but what happened to them. Like, it happened to you, not me. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to be in denial and you don't want to talk about it, like, by all means, let it keep happening to you. Because honestly, Xbox Live has had significantly more downtimes since that PlayStation outage, like more than double or whatever. So it's like, yeah, if you want to be tied to that system and you want to be tied to this bullshit, I mean, by all means.
You do
But you
you.
know, if you think streaming is the future and you think you want to be stuck on the cloud and you want all this other bullshit, well, welcome to your future.
Yeah,
You know,
uh, you said it best. And I want to add one final thing. You know how Microsoft fans always want PlayStation to follow Xbox
yep.
and start with Game Pass?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to finally draw a line in the sand and say just how you don't want PlayStation to follow Xbox to be like PlayStation, creating player games, stuff like that. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation to be like Xbox, having DRM, and I like play. Not get me wrong. PlayStation does have DRM. We've seen it with GT7. However, PlayStation, most of their games are playable offline. You don't need online to play their games.
Nope.
On Xbox, on the other hand, if you don't have online, you're screwed. No matter if your console is in home mode, outside mode, in the bar mode, in disco mode, where you at, it doesn't matter. And
Yep.
if people just need to stop talking about PlayStation following Xbox like that. You stay, you do your own thing, Xbox Game Pass and DRM and games that are not even on the level of a Last of Us 1. Well, we're getting greatness, and I'll leave it at that. With that being
Yep.
said, I'm gonna start with the outros. What you been playing tonight? I was curious about that.
Uh, so obviously I finished. I got the double platinum for Guardians of the Galaxy. Um, that kind of put me in a mode like I'm still trying to segue my way back into 13 Sentinels, but like once I really get back into that, I gotta go full on because
Oh
I
yeah,
feel like I feel like I need to like fully engross myself because the story is getting pretty complicated.
yeah, yeah.
So
After you finish
yeah,
that game, I wanna host what's called not per se a review, but more like conversation about it. Cause
yeah, yeah, no
I
doubt.
love that game.
But yeah, in the meantime, since like I haven't had the time to delve back into it yet, and I've just been kind of like playing something on the side while I've been working. I just kind of been going back to No Man's Sky after uh, their most recent major update. Just having a lot of fun in that, catching up, trying out a bunch of the new stuff. Um, it's a game I played heavily on PC after I played it on PS4 originally. So I'm kind of going back over there and like seeing how close I could get, you know, if I can't go ahead and secure that platinum because it's a game I'm really passionate about, and I enjoy thoroughly. You know, despite all the drama surrounding that game, I've loved it and played it since day one. So, yeah, that's something that I'm looking to really secure and
Did you finish Triangle
control as well.
Strategy?
No, no, because okay, so something that you'll notice with me, one thing that because okay, so the main thing is I got to have the guide because I don't know when I'm going to get to play again, and I want the what they call the golden path. And you have to do a very specific set of things to get that. So like, I won't play it unless I'm like sitting down with the guide. So
What does that thing do?
the golden path is it's the true ending. Like there's other endings,
Fair point.
but yeah, but I want the true ending first.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, yep. But
Are
yeah.
you gonna go play Naomi or Tiomi?
Yeah. I beat the first level.
Oh,
When it
first
then like
level.
the morning it came out or whatever, or not the afternoon it came out. I was playing with Morgan or whatever, but it is kind of jarring
Yeah.
the black and white. Like it kind of bothers my eyes a bit. So I feel like I'm gonna have to take some significant breaks.
What about how the combat is? Is it not jarring? Because to me the combat was jarring a little bit. It took a bit to
Yeah,
get used
the
to it.
parry is super weird.
No, the parry is super weird, but also the way the enemies move, almost like. Do you remember the movies back in the 80s, how the skeletons would move?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's how this game felt to me when I first started playing it.
Rama, just wanted to give some perspective, right? Uh, the first party thing from PlayStation, right? I've been looking at their sales, and I've been looking some lifetime sales from some IPs. Man, those sales are crazy. For example, Red Zero Dawn reached 20 million after 4 years, right?
Yeah.
It's some crazy potential, man. I just looked up the lifetime sales of Yakuza, the IP, like Yakuza, all
The
of it,
whole
right?
thing.
It's didn't it's over 17 million. The sometimes the reach of these first party IPs from Sony is big. It is. It
But we
really is.
know that it's only the certain fan base out here trying to downplay it.
I
But,
know.
but we know how big it is, and despite all the
I mean,
nonsense and all the shit they be talking, we know they playing it too.
Yakuza
So
has been, Yakuza has been fucking PlayStation 2, right? I mean, it's lifetime
hmm
sales.
yeah,
Because I was looking at again, I was looking at lifetime sales, and we were looking at a limit of 20 million, right? Zero Dawn, for example, is a new IP, reached 20 million, and
yeah,
I'm looking at which lifetime sales did it beat. Let's just say it like that. So I can see here that Horizon actually beat. Uh, Again, I said Yakuza. It beats Persona. It beats a lot of Japanese IPs. Unfortunately, even I can say that. Um, and yeah, you know what? Uh, Sometimes you can't understand as well. Sometimes there's lack of focus in the Japanese first part. The sales do translate it a little bit. Unfortunately, it's a business as well. But no,
well,
man, I'll
yeah,
still stand
and I
by what I
mean,
said. I still want them to
gaming has
try.
grown. Gaming has grown a lot, but like you said, the biggest thing. I mean, both me and you said this. The biggest thing that is very obvious that the global market responds to is presentation.
Yeah, I
Like
think
you need
they
to
should still try.
pull it up.
Sony
Agreed.
should still try because again, lifetime sales, of course.
No. I mean,
I,
I think they should still try. Yeah, I agree.
yeah, because
Hmm.
of course there are some games that are over to lifetime sales, right? For example, let's talk about buhatin ko, buhatin ko naiyak eh. Sorry. No, for example, lifetime sales. Let's look at a big IP, JRPG, Final Fantasy, for example, right? Lifetime sales report for Final Fantasy as of 2021 is over 174 million. There is still some potential if you can, if you can make a JRPG successful. Is what I'm saying, right?
You definitely can.
Is So yeah, that's why, like I said, they can. I want them to try. Let's see how it works out. Just one attempt, it don't need to be two or three or
Yeah,
10 like a live service.
like buying Square is not an excuse for them not to try. Like they should still
Oh yeah,
do
I
the
agree.
first party. Square, they're just adding Square. Well,
yeah,
Square is a
yeah,
secure. We're securing it
yeah,
to make sure we're not missing those games in the future and helping them iron out things and stay focused
Yep.
on what people want from Square.
yeah.
But they
Do you
still
guys see
do first
PlayStation?
party.
Square is not
Do
the
you
end
guys
game.
see
Yeah.
Persona 6 being exclusive to PlayStation only?
Yeah,
Persona
Yep.
6. Yeah, I mean,
And I
look,
fucking
man,
hope it is. 'Cause fuck everybody else. I don't care.
we're gonna do this. We're gonna say it this way, right? Let's say if they did if the other camp gets lucky, right? With Persona, for example, you still know which platform that game's going to get played on. It's still going to get played on a PlayStation the most, despite of it being a multiplat. That's kind of like the thing about multiplats, right? That no, this is about like the if you think about it in a business perspective, the genius sometimes of a time exclusive that is successful on a certain platform is a lot of those people will come back on that same platform if that game comes back. For example, let's say Street Fighter 6 becomes multiplat, right? That game's still gonna get bought the most on a PlayStation or PC. Or yeah, a PlayStation, sorry.
But they
Gonna get
know
bought
that. But they know that, and they try to
yeah,
belittle that. Except
yeah.
when they don't understand, there's a threshold that has to be met.
So,
So when you're given that game and that fan base does not meet that threshold, I'm sorry, bro, but if you prove to me your fan base is not worth my time, money, effort, and resources at all, then I'm not going to develop for the platform. I don't care
again,
how much they
it's
try.
like the funny thing about platforms, and as harsh as it sounds, it's just the truth. When it comes to a games platforms, I'm just never worried when it's a game that I love to that no when it's a game that interests me and it looks like I would love to play it. I'm not worried that it's coming to PlayStation because I'm sure it's coming to a PlayStation. you know,
Oh, for
um,
sure.
it's just like that, right? The discourse about platforms is that they'll be asking, is this coming to Xbox, right? Is this coming to this or that? And I don't have that worries. I don't need to ask that question because I know it's coming there. It's gonna be there on a PlayStation. And this again is the beauty of it, right? Multi-plat times exclusive or exclusive. It's gonna be on the PlayStation. And that's like the thing. Persona 6 can be exclusive again, can be multiplat, can be PS and PC again. But again,
I'm petty. I'm petty. I'm being petty though. I just don't
I
think
know,
they
I know.
deserve. I just don't think they deserve it. But yeah,
No,
whether or
I get
not
it. I get it.
they do get it. Yeah, we know where it's selling.
Nah, exactly. It's gonna be it's gonna get played the most on one platform. Again, it doesn't matter a lot. Although if we're gonna be if we're gonna drop the what do you call this? If we're gonna drop the me being considerate, then this is basically what I said on a chat. I said something like, you know what? Um, I would love that Sony and Square finally get married. They finally do this shit. Uh, I want them to still make their Switch games, but if they're gonna make a PlayStation game, it's gonna be on PlayStation only and PC after. That's it. If I want to be completely
Yeah,
selfish, I want Square to be on one platform because that's where they do best. Fortunately, whatever a lot of people say to me, it cannot convince me otherwise because the numbers don't lie. They just don't. They got it's this is like the funny thing about multi-platforms, right? They always take credit for multi-platform sales in total instead of individual platform sales for a multi-plat. They always take credit. Well, this still sold well, you know, like for example, the argument that I got, right? Look, Tales of Arise, they sold well, yeah, on PlayStation. you know what I mean?
exactly.
They sold well, yeah, on PlayStation, and
Well,
sure,
even a game like Tsukiyomi, it sold
I
well
mean,
on PlayStation.
Xbox helped a little bit, sure, but it sold well on PlayStation, yes. So again, I always find it funny when somebody just does that. They take credit for it. It sold well because it's on Xbox. You look at individual platform sales. It's not really the case, but again, it's hilarious. People say that. So I'm gonna just say it again. If people don't want to worry about platforms, get a PlayStation. I'm just saying, like people also say, you can get a PC. Yeah, sure. I mean, if you're a patient person, go get a PC. Although, again, it's an undeniable fact right now that a lot of PC players has a console on the side. So you know the vibes, right? It's like there are just some games that they cannot get access yet, like Demon Souls, for example. These Elden Ring players would love to play Demon Souls, right? Demon Souls remake. A lot of them would love to play that. And those are just certain examples that there will always be a console on the side because you'll never know, right? So I won't, PS and PC is not bad. It's not a bad combination. It's good, especially with the way they do it right now. PlayStation first, PC later. I think it's a good combination. It did well for God of War, did well for Zero Dawn, did well for 7 Remake. Is there anything else that went to PC from PlayStation? I can't think of anything else.
Yeah,
But
that's most of
the
them right
point
now. I mean,
is,
they're working
yeah,
on some stuff, but yeah.
the point is, it did well for these games. So I don't find the approach bad as well at all. Like it revitalizes the game
I mean,
even after.
like I told somebody, the fact that PMS Jordan, Miss I'ma play PC till I die in my grave, was forced to buy a PS5 is
For
exactly
Demon's Souls remake.
is exactly why PlayStation should keep doing exactly what the fuck they've been doing, because it forces all these people. I don't give a fuck how they feel. If there is one game you want to play, guess where the hell you are, and guess what she did. Even though Demon Souls was the reason, she also bought Horizon, Forbidden West, and like 3 other games, and I was like, see, that's why I
Wait, she
said,
bought Forbidden West?
yeah, she has
A
Horizon.
lot of people. A lot of people. You know what's funny about that with PMS? A lot of people basically said something like, you know, well, it's common to PC anyway. So I'm gonna wait, right? This is kind of like what they said. And they is not gonna hurt. And there's no PC player who's gonna jump to PlayStation after playing this or that.
Hmm.
The thing is, the exact same people, that owns a PlayStation right now. That's kind of like the
Exactly.
funny thing about it. So,
But they keep trying to be the people who are trying to belittle the crossover between PC and console people are Xbox people, because they want the ability to get a PC and then get everything. And
Yep.
PC
Horizon,
people are egging them on because
Yep.
they want everything. I was like,
the,
but you'd be an idiot to give up the things that make your platform unique.
the
Just like,
Horizon Zero Dawn, and then afterwards, you see this hardcore PC player buy a PlayStation 5 and get Horizon Forbidden West after. I'm sure Ragnarok is also on their list because they played God of War.
exactly.
I made that post back then last year, and I saw a lot of people ridicule me for it. They said something like, no, there's no PC player who would do that. They play Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, and they're gonna buy a PS5 after for a sequel. No, they're gonna wait for a sequel to drop on PC, and that's not what I'm seeing right now. So
Can you
like
Don't get me wrong though. I'm not saying those people don't exist, but the people that do exist that don't care about that stuff are not playing them in the first place. Like, I have a friend that literally plays like WoW, like World of Warcraft and Diablo, unless like all this motherfucker plays besides mobile games. He's not the person we're talking about. But there are the PC people that I play with. Matter of fact, funny enough, one of my homies who's a big WoW player and stuff, and League of Legends and all this other stuff, guess what he bought the other day? He bought a PS5 for $800.
what is he playing?
Right now he's playing Elden Ring, which funny enough,
Oh, okay.
he could have played on his
On the
PC,
PC.
and
Why did he not play
he
it on
still
his
bought a
PC?
PS5. He just wanted it on his PS5. That's just something
Okay.
that he bought. Yeah.
Hey, after we're done, can you DM me the picture, not the picture, the tweet of PMS buying Forbidden West?
It's in her photo, but yeah, or I don't think she said. I think she said I also bought it. It's in the thread, but
Oh,
I'll find it for you in a little bit.
thank you. And with that being said, we're gonna end the show right here. Great
Seeing
conversation. Too bad God couldn't make it, and you came just in time because I was literally about to end it.
Oh, I figured.
Um,
No, it's
uh,
scene, yeah.
Oh,
where people.
it's literally. I don't even have to find the link. It's in the picture.
Okay,
It's literally right there. Here, hold on.
I will
But
look it up after I'm done. Weeb, where people can find you.
You can find me on Twitter as Weep Sheriff at Infant Rhizome and on YouTube as Blue Rhizome. And great show. And
Okay.
on Beacon, of course.
And Nate, where people can find you.
Twitter at the real
Oh
Innate,
yeah,
or
now I see.
online at Innate, or Xbox at the real Innate. She traded in
Oh no, so
GT7 for it.
she want to trade the
GT7
yeah.
for Demon Souls.
Fair point, but
So
she still got
she traded, yeah, she traded an exclusive for another exclusive.
it's fascinating though. So yeah, where people can find you, Nate?
Yeah, like I said, just on Twitter at the real Innate, and also PlayStation just Innate.
Okay. Akira, where people can find you?
yeah, on Twitter, at Red Eyed Dragoon, and an underscore in the end. Talk about games. Talk about Final Fantasy 16 because it's almost there. I can feel it. All right, I can feel that mental countdown in my. It's killing me, honestly. But no, I mean, I'm really excited, to see that game. It's all going to be a lot of that. I'm talking about Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts a lot recently. So,
Yep.
so yeah, that's that was again. That was the thing with all of this, right? So again, we were talking about with Square again, guys. If it happens, it can break the internet. This marriage has been waiting to happen. Everybody's
I
invited
mean, I
if it
have the
happens.
feeling it already happened. If we go by how what's his name?
Uh,
The one from Kind of
this
Funny.
this is one thing that people need to understand about this. If the deal ever happens, I really believe it's more going to be in line with a Bungie type of deal, and the reason for that is simple, right? Even as much as people wants to see it that way or say it that way, it's really not the case. A lot of people see Sony, Nintendo as competition. They really are not. They
They
are.
are.
You can call them.
No. They are. Look what Nintendo did. Literally paid 5 mil or 3 mil to Capcom just to keep. What's the name of that game?
Monster Hunter Rise.
Monster Hunter or PlayStation.
Yeah,
They are in
yeah,
competition.
but that doesn't hurt PlayStation. They have
It does.
World.
It does. It does. PlayStation fans are
It
not getting that game. Period. It does.
Karaba, that's not how competition works, Karaba.
Nah.
Uh, I'll explain like this: Nintendo and Sony are really on completely different ends. They cannot compete because they're on different ends. A lot of PlayStation users own a Switch, Karaba. They complement each other. They're not competition; they're rivals. The difference between a competition and a rival. A rival push each other, right? They push each other, but they're not really, like they're not really hurting each other. That's what a rival is. A competition, however, you are literally just really trying to get a one up over somebody else. That's a competition. That's not what rivalry is. Nintendo and Sony are rivals. That's why, again, a lot of people owns PlayStation Switch at the same time because they complement each other. They offer different types of content. You want this type of content, you get a PlayStation. You want this type of content, you get a Switch. That's kind of like how they are complemented, with each other. That's why people never see them as like, Sony versus Nintendo. No, it's most of the time you only see unconsciously PlayStation versus Xbox because Sony is really not. And the fact that knowing that fact is because if you get a Sony type a Bungie type of deal with Square Enix. There's just a lot of money to be made for Square Enix as well. They cannot let go of the Switch, man. It's too big to let go. You cannot. It's like with Xbox going to Japan. You cannot force a fan base to migrate at the snap of a finger. It doesn't work like that. You're gonna hurt the brand. You're gonna hurt yourselves, basically. Sony owns Square Enix. It's gonna hurt them as well, basically.
Okay.
So again, they cannot let go like that. But even Microsoft, they got the fuck you money with Bethesda. They will take that loss. They would take that loss openly because they got money for it. However, it's again with Sony and Nintendo, they're not competition, they're rivals, and they don't have any intention to hurt each other because they kind of need each other. They prosper, with each other for generations now. They never hurt each other during their rivalry for all these generations. They never did because they both prospered. Hell, even Nintendo or PlayStation's lowest of the lowest with PS3 and with Nintendo with Wii U, they still did not hurt each other. They were still just rivals. That's what they are.
Okay.
They're rivals.
With that being said,
even Dante can tell you. Dante JRPG dude.
No, I understand. With that being said, it was a great show. Shout out to Kay, she couldn't make it. Shout out to Morgan, she couldn't make it. Shout out to Ghost in a Shell, he couldn't make it. And yeah, see you next week. Watch Spy X Family. That shit is amazing.